Hey guys, it's Bennett here from We Make Best with episode 2 of our ProQuest Primer series, and today we're going over Fai. Fai is the fastest deck in the format and as such forces the other heroes in the meta to either disrupt him or force him to block in order to race him. Fai's damage is very consistent due to access to Searing Emberblade and Phoenix Flame every turn, but can spike when he sees Spreading Flames or Art of War along with the use of Master the Pouncing Links. Fai's goal is to force the opponent to block his attacks due to on-hit effects like Snatch, Mounting Anger and Take the Tempo that demand blocks, or raw damage that can't be matched by almost any other hero in the game. Forcing the opponent to block often means their return damage is negligible and Fai can just take it and keep a 5-card hand. These are the hands where Fai can deal insane amounts of damage with Art of War or Spreading Flames, sometimes even both. Fai typically looks to use Master the Pouncing Links to get the opponent into lethal damage range, which guarantees them blocking and letting you continue your onslaught. Fai's weakness comes against heroes that can disrupt his game plan, and the common culprits of this are Iyslander with Frostbites and discard effects, along with Channel Lake Frigid, and Guardians with their various crush effects and pummels. Fai also occasionally draws hands without a chain starter, and you might need to activate Fai to use Phoenix Flame to start your chain, leading to a lot less damage, and this can be crucial on late game turns. Fai has a firm spot in the meta due to being the best aggro deck in the format because he is the most resistant to Frostbite effects due to Belittle Minimism. Most aggro matchups feel Fai favoured due to the amount of raw damage Fai can deal, whilst also presenting awkward on-hit effects that must be blocked. Guardians are the main class to worry about when considering Fai for ProQuest. If the stronger players in your area play Oldhim or Bravo, you might want to look at another hero or get some practice in the matchup as it plays different to your normal race matchup. Overall, this leaves Fai in a very good place for ProQuest season and is our pick for the best hero in Classic Constructed, and we'll be keen to see how he's represented in week 1 of the ProQuest season. Fai vs Briar. This matchup is a race as both sides aren't looking to block unless an on-hit is presented such as Snatch, Mounting Anger or Command and Conquer. The race usually favours Fai but can be swayed by Channel Mount Heroic. Forcing the opponent to block first due to lethal damage is both of the heroes' goals in the matchup, and Fai does this very well by using Master the Pouncing Links to push extra damage on Art of War or Spreading Flames turns. Fai vs Iyslander. Iyslander makes us adapt our game plan due to the disruption from Frostbites and discard cards like Aether Ice Fiend, Amulet of Ice and Coronet Peak, and due to this we look to play smaller combat chains unless we know they don't have an ice card in their arsenal. Belittle is a very good card in the matchup and can allow Fai to ignore Iyslander's Frostbites for a full turn, even sometimes letting you pay through Channel Lake Frigid. And Fai should play all of the taller attacks he has access to, and this allows him to attack with his threatening attacks with resources floating for Arcane Barrier. Fai vs Oldhim. Fai can usually outgrind Oldhim if he plays for Fatigue with Crown of Seeds and Rampart due to big Art of War and Spreading Flames turns and Phoenix Flame leaking damage over several turns. This has caused Oldhims to play aggro builds with Pummel and Stalagmite to try and disrupt the Fai while keeping up with damage output. It is up to the Oldhim to disrupt Fai with his various tools such as Ice React, Stalagmite, Pummel, Spinal Crush, Choke Slam, Command and Conquer, and Crush the Weak. Fai will have to stop the first few crush effects with his armor and Sink Below to keep pressuring Oldhim, as well as bringing in attacks to play off 2-card hands after losing cards to Pummel. Fai vs Dash. Fai is typically the faster aggro deck and thus doesn't worry about blocking, especially due to the lack of on-hit effects that Dash presents. Dash can win the race with a strong turn based around high octane, combustible courier or maximum velocity, and Fai should look to push his lead with Master the Pouncing Links, pushing Dash into lethal range and making it even harder for Dash to fight back. The best disruption Dash has is access to Pulse Wave Harpoon. Boosting 3 times can allow you to take the blue from Fai's hand or his chain starter to stop the explosiveness of Fai. Fai vs Bravo. Bravo is one of the challenging matchups for Fai due to the plethora of disruption Bravo has access to, that can also gain Dominate from his hero ability. Choke Slam, Crush the Weak, Spinal Crush, Command and Conquer, Terra Sunder, Crippling Crush, and Pummel are all super punishing on-hit effects that stop Fai from going wide and benefiting from his hero ability and weapon. Fai needs to use his armor to block crush effects and keep Sink Below in arsenal to block dominated attacks. Fai will look to play 2-card hands like Enlightened Strike and Command and Conquer, but should be ready to punish the Bravo should they stumble with a big chain backed up by Art of War or Spreading Flames. Hey guys, it's Bennett, and for the Fai game we're going to do a slower live commentary that some of you guys asked for, going over some of the decisions, even though there isn't too many with Fai, but we'll try and get there. Basically in this matchup I don't want to over sideboard or even really sideboard at all, because I just want to play as aggressive as possible and just strip as many cards as I can from their hand. So we're just going to go with our original game plan. I didn't manage to see who's going first. Okay, they chose to go first. Interestingly enough, I always choose to go second when I play Fai, even against decks like Rhino and Bravo. It's just too much advantage. This hand's very good, but obviously they're going to take some of our cards here. Okay, if we did manage to keep a card, what would we want to keep? Probably the Spreading Flames, or maybe just a blue. This is coming in for 7 though, so we need to block at least 6. Yeah, let's just keep the spreading. Obviously if they attack me again, I'll block, but yeah, looks like they're gonna attack for 2 and we just get to block it. Oh no, they just loaded and pass, interesting. Obviously it's not gonna connect, right, because I have a card in hand. This is a little bit awkward. I think the line here is because the Spreading Flames is so awkward, we need to Rising Resentment. Even that, we could go Rising Resentment, pitch the Art of War to Emberblade, and then Blaze Headlong, but then we can't. The Blaze Headlong doesn't have Go again because we haven't played a red yet. Can also just go Spreading Flames off of the Rising into Blaze Headlong, use Fire and attack for 2 with the Phoenix Flame. Guess that's our best bet. We get to Arsenal the Art of War. Not the strongest turn, but at least it's threatening, you know, 9 damage. I don't think I'm looking at Mask of the Pouncing Lynx here. I think I'd rather wait for the Art of War turn. Even though when you do have a buff, it's usually a good time to crack the Pouncing Lynx, but well, they have D-React. Maybe they're on a mid-rangey dash build. Okay, sure, so we're coming in for 2 here. Okay, and then just block for 2 to gain 2 health for some reason. Don't block like that, guys. That's not really doing anything here. So this hand we're looking at basically just maybe blocking with this and sending all our zeros. Okay, T-Bone, we have to block. We'll just block with our Snapdragons. I'm lagging a bit here, there we go. We don't mind taking 5. I usually don't Art of War unless I have a blue pitch to fuel the turn. Because if you pitch this, take the tempo and banish your Snatch to Art of War, you can just draw a bunch of Mounting Angers and Flamecore Awakenings, and then you're missing like 2 or 3 Chain Links. They go for a Spark here, they're probably going to crack their boots. Nope, just pass, interesting. Okay, so we're going to lead with one of the brands. Depending on how they block here, we'll change how we sequence this turn. Do we ever go for a Pouncing Lynx this turn? I'd say no due to the lack of Go again. Could go Brand, pitch the other 2 to Emberblade, into Phoenix Flame, into Pouncing Lynx. It's not too bad. I kind of want to save the Pouncing Lynx for the Art of War though. Maybe I should have blocked with the take the tempo on that 5 that they attacked with. But alas, we'll keep going. We've only got 1 Phoenix Flame in our yard, of course. So they take this as well. So we can just attack with the take the tempo. I think I like that because I don't want to snap on the Snatch here. And this is basically a similar on hit to Snatch, but because it gets banished, we can actually play a 6 card hand with the Art of War. So if this hits, we're in a crazy good spot. 6 card Art of War, crazy. Okay, yeah, we do see a block with the equipment here. So this is what Fai does, guys. You basically just force equipment blocks due to all your breakpoints, and now we're in a favorable position the whole game. And yeah, this looks like a good hand for Art of War because we can belittle off of the Assault, Real Ronin, search for that Minnow, and then we have 4 resources after that. Basically can pay for anything that we Art of War into. And the Emberblade as well. Okay, so they're leading off with 2, or it's 4 because of the pounder. That's fine. Leading off with a blue, maybe they don't have a strong hand this turn, which will be obviously unfortunate for them. Oh wait, did they banish that sync blow? Yeah, they did. So they have to crack their boots as well here. And I guess that's the downside of bringing in D-Reacts as dash. You can mill them and they do stop your boost. Okay, so we see Harpoon. Choose 3 cards. Is there any card I don't want to show them? Probably the Belittle. They do take the Salt, okay. That's fine. Okay, so we could go Belittle, Mounting, reveal the Ronin, we search for Minnow, 3 floating, we can Art of War away the Ronin, so we have 2 random cards and 2 resources floating. Alternatively, we can Mounting Anger off the Belittle and then just attack with the Ronin. That doesn't seem very good. I mean, it is threatening 8 damage. If we do want to be greedy and get a better Art of War turn. I think we do actually. I usually like playing, as obviously Art of War is better the more chain links you get, so I like playing 5-card hands with that. And this is an awkward, like while we do have 4 cards, we don't really get to use the value of all 4 cards with this Art of War. Okay, so they do take the 4, we can banish Ronin. We don't want to Pouncing. We just come in for 4, so 8 damage on the backswing. Not too bad after a Pulse Wave. No, that's fine. Alright. Okay, not a bad hand actually for Art of War. See what they come with here. High speed for 4. It's just raw damage, we don't really care. Only thing I really look to block in this matchup is Combustible Courier. T-Bone's coming in. Yeah, we'll just block with the feed again. Snapdragon's working overtime. Well, they come in with a payload for 6. I'm gonna just block with Flame Scale because the game's not gonna go too much longer and I don't wanna miss my 2 blocks with it. And it can also still, you know, team up with a 3 to block a Combustible Courier. Alright, so now it's our go. Let's lead off with the Rising here. Let them block without knowing the Art of War's coming. Yep, so we got Art of War. It doesn't particularly matter what we pitch, but we want to banish the non-go agains, just in case we draw 2 of them or 1 of them even off of the Art of War. Okay, we don't want to banish a card, but do we want to Pouncing Links? Yes, we do. And we'll just get Salt the Wound. Oh, we've already blocked with the Salt the Wound actually, so we have to get Lava Burst. And let's come in with the Mounting for 5. They do get a clean block with their Crown and a 3 here, if they're so inclined. We can follow this up with Rising into Emberblade, into Phoenix Flame, into Lava Burst. So they only block the Crown, they don't put anything else in front. Interesting. So we will banish the Rising, which comes in now for 3. Yep. And our Phoenix Flame will be buffed by the Shuko here. Don't want to banish that. We'd rather pitch it to Emberblade. Yeah, this is basically showing the strength of Pouncing Links. We just ignore their damage, push back for infinite more. and get them down to the spot where they have to block our turns, and then it's really doomed for them. Boom, Lava Burst for 6, dropping them to 4. Once again, we probably don't have to block this turn. Bit of an awkward hand. We might have to go Brand into Rising. Hopefully it hits for our Flame Coal to get banished. So there goes Load Pistol into Zip here for 5. That's fine, we just take, we go to 8. Into a Throttle for 6. It's a lot of damage. But we're just going to be forcing so many blocks next turn. We go to 2, it doesn't matter particularly much. Oh, it does actually, I lie. We can just block with this though, to go to 1. Okay, let's start it off with the Brand. Okay, that gets blocked. Go Rising. Also gets blocked. Unfortunately, we don't have our Furnace here, so we could go Flame Coal, search for Phoenix. We do have one less in our deck still. And then because we have this in the pitch zone already, we could pitch to Furnace to Searing Emberblade. But at this point, we're just going Phoenix Flame for 1, Phoenix Flame for 2. So this is not lethal, so they can attack us back with the Tekla Pistol or with like a 0 to 60. Probably the best card they could have in this spot. Let's see if they have it. Okay, it is a 0 to 60, but it's only a yellow. So we can block with 1 card here, which will be this round's on me. Okay, and then the question here is whether or not we want to gamble on Art of War. So we can always play Rising Resentment into Searing Emberblade off of Snatch with 1 floating, and then 5 for Phoenix Flame. That demands 3 cards out of their hand. Seems okay to me. Unfortunately, we do have to pitch the Snatch to do that. I mean, that takes 3 cards and we get to Arsenal the Art of War. I'd say, yeah, that's just a safe play. Obviously, you can Art of War and actually win the game this turn, but I think it's unlikely to literally win the game. It might just take that whole hand, but then we've lost an Art of War. So this taking 3 cards is basically comparable to that anyway. Yep, so they block 3, they have to Emberblade. They have to block again into Phoenix Flame. Yep. Coming in for 1. Or for 2, yeah. They don't block, they D-react. They don't, they must have 2 items. Well, that's unfortunate, but even in that spot, I think, you know, if they block with one of those cards and then attack us with the last one with their pistol, we can just block with Shuko and we have a 5-card Art of War hand, so we're probably winning the game anyway. But yeah, that just shows the dash matchup. Basically, you just ignore everything they do and you just push damage for yourself, push on-hit effects, make them block, and then mask the pouncing links to chunk them into lethal range and force them into blocking. Alright, GG's.